Welcome back to another episode of the Find Your Fuse podcast. And we are super pumped for this one because we are timely queens for this one. This entire episode is going to be about all things Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Because if you haven't seen What Rock Are You Living Under, please invite me because it sounds nice to be disconnected sometimes. But they have finally gotten engaged. And obviously a lot of people have been speculating about when it happened and all that fun stuff. But it sparked this episode.
Welcome to Find Your Fuse, the podcast and community for women who know they're meant for more.
We're your hosts, Brooke and Kelly, two founders, two entrepreneurs, and two best friends who are figuring it out just like you. Because if you have found that success is anything but a straight line, then you're in the right place.
Join us as we go through all things business and all things real life.
We're going to bring you along for the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
Grab your drink, get comfy, and get ready for a chat with your new best friends.
Let's like this shit.
Yes, and you know what else happened on the 26th that I was more excited about? Pumpkin spice lattes dropped today. And your niece's birthday.
Pumpkin spice lattes. That is something you were more excited about, which fair.
Yes. But the premise of this whole episode is to talk about things that are trending. So let's jump on in. Let's talk about trends. Let's talk about how to use them, how not to use them, and all that jazz. So starting with duality questions, Brooke, to you first. What is a pop culture moment that genuinely inspired something deeper in your marketing strategy?
I love this question. Honestly, there are many moments, I feel like, because I am the person that stays up to date with some.
She's
pop
trendy.
culture.
She's
Not
the
all,
trendy half.
but not all. Not all, though. I am chronically online, so I definitely just know of a lot of things happening. Unless it's like super drama focused, then I tend to not stay into that vein. But there was a moment last year for Sabrina Carpenter's tour. If anyone is a Sabrina fan, you would know her last album definitely is filled with not only innuendos, but also just like full on explicit statements, which I love. Like, love that. I love the album. I'm obsessed. And in her concert, she had a Juno position moment. So for the song Juno, there's a line that goes, "Have you ever tried this one?" And she would run to the front of the stage and she would do a different sex position, essentially, or like stage one, obviously. People freaked. One, everyone was trying to figure out what position she would do next. So in Paris, she mimicked the Eiffel Tower, and she would make it align with where she was. People were always trying to guess what was coming next. It was viral on social media, and she truly made a phenomenon. People on the opposite end as well, though, were also pissed because they were like, "This is a child's concert." That was wild because literally, no, it wasn't. But it was really a moment that she freaking killed the marketing game because it kept everyone interested to see what she was doing at her next tour and kept her really relevant throughout her entire touring time. And that, for me, inspired just a lot of thoughts and ideas. We didn't actually end up using it within our own marketing strategy to make a meme out of it or anything. I've definitely seen other brands do. But the way she used that opportunity to intro something new in each tour, even though tours generally are the same set over and over and over again, because obviously they rehearsed this for a month leading up to, she found a way to still maintain an element of surprise and fun and levity and playfulness that people really got excited about. And it just sparked the idea and thought of how can that be something that is embedded into your marketing strategy? Launches often look the same every single time because there is somewhat of a strategy to it, but how can you surprise and delight your audience with something new to keep them interested and keep them on their toes? So for me, that was a really cool pop culture moment.
It's amazing.
Back at you.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good one. And for me, something that I talk about every single year religiously on insert whatever PSL day is PSL, because it's not the fact that I love them, because I really don't. I have one a year and it is today. It's the fact that it literally shapes an entire marketplace. So fall started today because Starbucks decided today was the day that the PSL, pumpkin spice latte, is going out into the marketplace, which means everybody's going to start losing their marbles around all things pumpkin. And then baking starts, and then Halloween movies start, and then everyone rewatches Gilmore Girls. And there are all these things that happen that really continue because of the start of pumpkin spice season. And there are a lot of people that are probably listening and they're like, "Kelly, it's earlier and earlier every year." You know what? So be it. Fall is the best holiday. And they literally drive the entire marketplace of fall. It has started. People are getting pumpkin spice lattes. They're going to go to Target. They're going to go to TJ Maxx. They're going to buy all new pumpkins for their decor in their house. It's a whole movement that they start every single year. And for me, it's always fascinating to see that. And as a marketer, other businesses jump on it too. And they're like, all right, we're here. Every single other little coffee shop, they might wait until October for their pumpkin spice, but they know very, very well that people are already buying them. So how are they differentiating in that market and their small community? And how can they love on people right now in that interim of it's August, we're not putting out pumpkin spice yet.
Yeah.
But what are you giving people?
I also think what's interesting specifically about the pumpkin spice example is other coffee brands have also released their pumpkin spice flavors, some even earlier than Starbucks, and it did not get as much hype as Starbucks really does lead the charge on like, it's fall now, y'all, because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible. So
Totally.
duality, back onto you actually. What is a viral moment you personally loved but did not feel aligned to your brand at all? Because, like, disclaimer for anyone listening, we are going to dive into when you should and should not be using these viral moments within your brands, because it's not always a hell yes. So what was that example for you?
Yeah, something that's just really obvious for me, and whether it's personal brand or just other brands I've worked with, is when it comes to reality TV things. Like, I know there's always some sort of reality TV show happening. It's not for me. I can't tell you the names of people who are making out on TV. I don't know what's happening. I don't know the drama. I don't subscribe to that. And for me, it would be so inauthentic if I'm like, hashtag Bachelorette season, because everyone knows that I don't watch that. And I haven't. I used to probably like 12 or so years ago, but I just don't watch any of those anymore. And so if I was to jump on that bandwagon, I wouldn't even be able to live in that and like use the trend as good as it was if I did feel that connection as like a fan or as someone that really is into that pop culture lane. So I'm gonna have to say that something reality TV-esque, because it doesn't really make sense for me. Anyway, what about you?
For me, I'd have to say anything with sports ball, like with the direct topic of sports ball, unless it's hockey, which doesn't even have a ball. So my statement was still accurate.
I love it.
For me, and for the exact same reason you just said, it is not super authentic to me. I can appreciate it. I can respect it. I fully respect sports and professional athletes, and I'm intrigued sometime when these different pop culture moments happens. Like, I remember while I was living in Dallas, one of their like main players was traded from the Mavericks to the Lakers. That's the LA team. Yep. Purple. See, guys, this is why it would not be authentic for me. And like, I remember being like, my husband came home and told me that and was like, oh my God, this is actually a big drama in Dallas right now, because like people were upset about it. And I was like, I can appreciate the interest of what's happening right now, but it would not have been a moment for me to turn that into a marketing lesson. Not that that would have been a marketing lesson, but it wouldn't have been a moment for me to turn it into anything, because it would have been just so far from me as a human to talk about. Because it just wouldn't make sense. So I think as we dive into this episode, for anyone listening, like as we're talking about this moment, the Travis and Taylor moment, or PSL, or anything else, if there is something that's happening in pop culture that you have absolutely zero interest in, zero skin in the game, like not even it might not be my favorite thing in the world, but I know it's at least my audience's favorite thing, so I can get excited about that. Don't talk about it. Get on YouTube. There's always something happening. There is plenty of opportunities.
Exactly. And we're just going to, call a spade here on the Find Your Fuse podcast. Brooke nor I are Swifties.
Much love to the Swifties, though.
Totally. We have a lot of besties that are Swifties, and we love that. Do I think Taylor Swift is a marketing genius? Yes. Do I think she has the coolest marketing team on the planet? Also, yes. However.
Am I obsessed with her cats?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Like we are two people that could almost like should be Swifties, but we're not, and that's okay. Correct. So just a fun caveat, because we're going to come to this not as like super fans of Taylor, but as the kind of objective third party marketing people. So moving into that, you already kind of said this a little bit, but their engagement obviously is freaking huge, and everyone's been waiting for it. It literally broke the internet this morning. Because within the first 20 minutes, it got millions of likes and comments and engagement and moved forward, and people are losing their little marbles. So let's talk about that for a second, is like the power of them taking over an entire day, and like the internet lost their little minds. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's incredible. I think it shows that both of them separately and together have built such loyal and incredible fan bases, because they are so good at what they do. Like, everyone, like, don't hear what Kelly and I are not saying, just because we're not necessarily the biggest Swifties in regards to like the biggest super fans of her music. We both respect the hell out of it. She's incredible at what she does. And
Yes.
again, we are super fans of her marketing. Like, we're obsessed with her marketing. It's so freaking good.
She's, a self-made billionaire. I respect the shit out of that. Like, I think she's incredible. I'm just not over here just like listening to all her albums for fun.
Not on my playlist. Yeah. But I say that because there is so much respect for the fan bases that she and he have built. So putting them together was just like incredible. And no one gets as obsessed with people have with them, with someone who, how do I put this? Like, someone who sucks, someone who doesn't know how to connect. Like, it shows she knows her audience so well. And she also, I'm sure, in Taylor fashion, had released different Easter eggs to this engagement and different little like hidden hints in many places, because that's her thing. And she is so good at creating viral moments for herself because she knows her audience so well. And that is why Kelly and I are so obsessed with her marketing, because she is truly the playbook of market research. She and her team are truly the playbook of market research and understanding who you're speaking to. And because they have mastered that, and they've mastered how the audience enjoys to receive these little Easter eggs and hints and announcements and all of the different things, that is why the post got over 1.8 million likes in under 20 minutes. That is why. Because plenty of celebrity couples have announced their engagements and have also gotten really cool viral responses. I don't know how many have gotten this viral and obsessive of responses, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I was going to say we could have done that research, but I would venture to guess not many or none, because of the fact that Taylor is such a huge brand herself, and Travis is like along for his own ride, and he's also kicking butt for his own sports ball stuff. So it's kind of fun to see this really fun power couple that everyone really loves. Like, we love to see their love unfold, and that's just special. So long story short, they broke the internet, and I love that for them. So amazing. I do think there is something really special in a marketing realm of how you can kind of make that connection piece work for you, even with a small audience. Like, community is always better than competition, and partnering with other people is always really important. So how can you pull in partnership and community and that intimacy that people want to follow? How can you make that in your own marketing so that people are along for the ride, just like they are for Taylor and Travis?
Yes. How can you make your community feel so seen, heard, loved, valued by you that they feel like you're in their heads and they feel completely attached to every word that you're saying? Because that is the skill that Taylor has mastered. So think about that through the lens of your own business.
And I'm really interested to see what happens post this engagement, because it was only a couple weeks ago that she had launched like her brand new album that's coming out, and the world went orange, which, we all love. But for me, I'm interested to see like, okay, this was timed perfectly per their drop. What is coming now? And so I'm interested on like what's happening next. Like what's the tea there? Because I know it'll be epic, whatever it is. I'm secretly waiting for them to announce that she's doing the Super Bowl.
Same. That is a theory. We're going to say that out loud.
Yeah. I'm subscribed with that one. Yep.
I am too. And also would be incredible. She should.
Totally. I agree. She could do every Super Bowl for the next 5 years and still
people would be thrilled. Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on from there.
Well, but one last thing on that with like the comment of community, when it comes to like using this as well within your own audience, like using moments like this, if you are the kind of brand or business who you yourself is excited about this type of lore and this type of pop culture moment, and then B, you understand your audience so well, that's when you can start bringing in the memes and the reels and all of the fun things that are now being made off of this engagement, just like the world turned orange for the Showgirl drop, into your own marketing and branding. Because even though this is not your brand, this is not might not be your brand colors, this might not be your normal brand voice, knowing your audience well enough to know that they care about this information in the same way you do humanizes you and your brand to your audience and makes them that much more obsessed with you.
Totally. And I think that's a good segue into just like the emotional connection, because when you know your audience so dang well, you know what they want. You know what they want from you. And when things happen in the world, is it important to them? Amazing. Is it not? Also amazing. Because that's just part of your market research and really knowing your customer so well that you can serve them what they need at the right time. And that comes with trends. So you might have a brand that doesn't really talk about this stuff, but let's say you're freaking out on the inside. It'd be like, you're a huge Swiftie Maybe test something and see if the rest of your audience likes Taylor Swift too. Like, are they also crazy excited? Because sometimes it's building on someone else's community
Yeah.
to recreate
Find
your own.
yours.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
make those, you're like braiding your own intimacy when it comes to that of like, okay, they're Taylor Swift fans, plus they're customers of mine. Amazing. How can I make this kind of jive together? And I think that's a
Yeah.
powerful thing.
As human beings, it's quite literally in our survival instincts to crave community. Like that is something that is like hardwired into us as humans. And it is a normal thing to find your community within someone else's. And it's because of this. Like if you are looking for new friends and you're living in a new city and you're obsessed with yoga, going to a yoga studio where there will be other humans who are probably obsessed with yoga at the local yoga studio would be a great place to start to try to find new friends. It's just putting yourself in an environment that you know that there's at least one thing that you have in common with everyone else there. And then from there, you can see what else you all have in common. It's the same idea digitally with other people's communities and with topics like this. So even start with like sharing something about this to your stories on Instagram or wherever you like to live and see who engages. I get way more engagement on things on social media, especially in stories that have nothing to do with my business or anything that I'm doing in my professional life versus ones that do. It's always the ones about moving to a new city or going to try this new restaurant or flying somewhere fun or whatever it might be that gets more engagement than like, oh my God, look at this really cool thing that I did. Do I wish it was the opposite? Sure. But we're all humans and we crave human connection. We're nosy. We love to know what everyone's doing. So, and we love to know what everyone's interested in. So think about that when you go to post this type of stuff, because it's humanizing you more. It's humanizing your brand more. And it is 100% going to get people who are interested into like-minded things in front of you, which at the end of the day, your ideal audience are people who have common interest. So how are we bringing them?
Exactly. And even like as specific as the Taylor Travis, even when they first started dating, the sales for all things Kansas City Chiefs went up because all of a sudden all these Swifties are going to games. They want jerseys that are Travis Kelce because they're now rooting for Taylor's boyfriend, right? Mm-hmm. It literally changed the game, literally, of football and the NFL franchise because Taylor dipped her toes into it. And I think that's also a really powerful conversation of even on a small scale. Let's say you and I are on someone else's podcast. We get to dip our toe in front of a different audience. And that's a powerful thing too. Now, I'm not Taylor Swift and you're not Taylor Swift and we're not dating anyone in the NFL. So that has a huge impact. You can still make that type of impact with the people that are in your community and someone else's community. Like how can you position yourself in front of a community that wouldn't have seen you before? Unless a random happenstance, how can you love on them differently? And I think that's a whole thing, like the amount of people that are watching Sunday football just because they 0.2 seconds that they'll put Taylor on the screen in a box.
Correct.
They're excited to see that. So that's an interesting way to like use your own community as well.
Yeah. And when you go to pitch yourselves for these opportunities to get in front of other people's audiences, just like Kelly said, also think about how is your audience now of leverage to that community as well, because this is a give and take, especially on these smaller scales. So how can your community be of leverage to their audience and theirs of yours? I also kind of want to bring it back within this tapping into emotional connection subject all the way to why people are obsessed with Taylor to begin with. I know we kind of already talked about a little bit how she's a genius at marketing and her team is incredible, but it really all goes back to storytelling, which is something we've talked about on the pod before and we will be talking about on the pod again, because it is just such a big piece of, again, life. That's a natural thing in our humanness. It's hardwired in us. Like we've always loved storytelling. Like you can go back to the dawn of the days and look at glyphs sketched into walls or carved, and it was stories. Like storytelling has always been a thing that humanity has liked. We always are here for a story, and I think that storytelling is a big piece of why people are so obsessed with Taylor Swift, because before Taylor Swift was Taylor Swift, she was a new songwriter and singer trying to find her way in the country music industry. If you go way back to like Love Story and Teardrops on My Guitar, and the reason people were so obsessed with her music from early on is because she pours her heart into that music, which most artists do. Anyone who writes their own music, typically they are putting a lot of their emotions in it, but Taylor is so open about her experiences in life, in love, pursuit of happiness, and literally all things. And that is what's hooking people. That is why people have become obsessed with her from to get her to this point that she's in now. It goes back to storytelling. She just does it through music.
I think there's also the point of, right, she started in country music, right? When she was young, 15 or 16 or whenever she had started. And the audacity that she had to switch from country to pop to rock to folk to pop to whatever has taken her fans on a ride of like how Taylor and her voice and her storytelling can be multifaceted with different genres. And that's huge. Like that's an iconic thing to do, is to be on stage and go through every single genre in an evening. That's incredible.
It's also authentic because I think it shows, again, with the storytelling, not every phase of life is the same. Not every experience is the same. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're not, sometimes you're in between. And I think her shifts in genres really speak so beautifully to her evolution in life and her own story. And not only is she telling the story through her words and her music with that, but she is also telling the story through the feelings that these genres are putting you through as she performs. Again, like if there's anything for you to analyze when it comes to Taylor and her marketing, analyze her storytelling and how she describes things in her storytelling. Like go analyze her lyrics. Lord knows Swifties are analyzing those lyrics. And I do understand why she puts so much thought and description and intention into what she writes. And that same passion and intention can be brought into your marketing and into your brand messaging and into your brand strategy, because the way she can paint a picture for someone when she's singing a song through her lyrics is the same way that you need to be painting a picture for someone when they are reading your social posts or listening to you talk about what you do or reading your email or reading your website or wherever you are showing up in front of them. It's the same but different. It's just a different color, different place, same idea.
Totally different modality, but same exact idea.
Mm-hmm.
And Brooke said it beautifully when she said, we've talked about storytelling before and we will talk about it again, because we are so dang passionate in that topic alone. So stick around for more storytelling. That's a really fun topic to continue talking about. So do you want to jump into what happens if it goes wrong?
Ooh.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I do actually.
we talked about a lot of things, right? Like love on your people, talk about storytelling, make sure you're posting what your people want to see and how you can connect with them on a different level. But what happens if you post something that's out of integrity or in a trend that doesn't really make sense? What happens if it backfires on you? So I guess risk number one is overexposure on something that maybe you weren't hoping to have overexposure on.
Weren't prepared for. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I also think that there's a way to, let's say you are a Swiftie and you post about it today, but then you post about their engagement for the next 2 weeks. People are going to be really bored. Like, really bored.
Knowing when too much is too much and when you need to circle it back to your business and your brand. And also, we are speaking at this from the POV of learning how to use these cultural moments in time for your business and your brand. If you are just a random human being on your like personal Instagram page, just like living your best life, sharing all the things, live your best life and share all the things. This is from a marketing and brand expert lens of like, okay, tapping into it to leverage it without overdoing it and losing your own brand voice and presence in the process.
Yeah. And I think that's something that really could be missed by some people is anyone at all. You have full free will to post about whatever you want, whenever you want to. But if it is not landing and you keep hitting that dead horse, the people are going to drop off because now they're losing trust in you and what you're saying because it doesn't really make sense to them at all. That's an important factor to pay attention to as well when you're on trending things.
I think you also even just said, in my opinion, the biggest thing that can go wrong, and it's trust.
Mm-hmm.
Trust in life, trust with yourself, trust with your partner, trust with your friends, trust with your audience. Trust is the most important currency that we have. Mm-hmm. And it's not something you can just buy more of. It is something trust is earned. You know that annoying saying that like your parents said to you when you like did something wrong as a kid? Yeah, it's real though. So trust is not something you want to bet on. So
Correct.
whenever it comes to tapping into a cultural moment or posting something that might be out of alignment, but you're like, it's going viral and, I don't agree with anything that's happening here, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. You might be losing trust with your audience, and trust is really hard to rebuild. And trust is what is going to convert into sales when you have a brand or a business that you're trying to get people to invest in you or your product and whatever it might be. So trust, I think, is the biggest thing on the line when it comes to differentiating or deciding yes or no. Is this something for me to share, or is this something for me to just let the internet have its moment with, and maybe the next one will be for me?
Exactly. And I think there is also a note of, ooh, she's trying too hard. Like if us,
Mhm.
we were very open, not Swifties, and all of a sudden, if we just started posting about Taylor Swift all the time, people would be like, what are they doing? Like that's
Weird.
so out of integrity, and it doesn't fit you, it doesn't fit your brand, it doesn't even fit your audience.
And I want to call out here too, just because so anyone's like, you just said you're not Swifties, but you're talking about this.
Mhm.
Here's the difference. We may not be, like we said earlier, Swifties listening to every new song that comes out or anything like that, but things Kelly and I guess we could say, are Swifties about, in the sense of we are obsessed with her marketing and obsessed with a lot of things she does, and our audience is greatly Swifties. So
Yes.
those are the reasons why this is actually okay for us to talk about,
Mhm.
versus if it was like the most recent Bachelorette drama, it would be completely irrelevant for Kelly or I. Because yes, maybe we would have had one of those. Maybe we have an audience full of Bachelorette watchers, but there is nothing about the Bachelorette that Kelly and I are interested in the marketing and the cast. No offense to any of them, nothing against them. It's just,
Nope.
it's so far removed. Whereas maybe the new album might be far removed in regards to the playlist, but Taylor's marketing tactics and her genius of how she moves as a businesswoman through this world is not far removed from Kelly and I's interests. I'm fascinated.
Correct. Yeah. And, we started this podcast in general to elevate female voices. And
Mm-hmm.
again, Taylor Swift doesn't need our help to elevate her voice.
No.
What, right? However, if you're her marketing team and you need some support, please call us. But it is also our duty just to kind of like tell people how it is and really love on them so you can market your voice and your female badass businesswoman power. And if you
Oh
can
yeah.
take any notes from Taylor Swift, I pray that we're able to support you in that, because again, that's something that is trust for us, is we
Yeah.
want to be that place that you go and we can love on you, and we can love on you hard, we can support your mission through our mission, and that's elevating your voice. So if you're listening and you were confused for a second because we've been talking about Taylor and not saying that we're not Swifties, I'm glad you called that out, Brooke. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll call this out like it is, because yeah.
Mhm.
And for any of our listeners that we know are out there who are huge Swifties, who are also business owners, we want this to be a resource to you of how can I use this iconic cultural moment in time to leverage within my own marketing. And I don't want that to sound like you're using someone or something, even though, I mean, yes, when you're leaning into someone's audience, it's kind of what's happening, but also like it's all about integrity. If you're doing it out of integrity because you're like, oh my God, I'm pumped about this. I know my audience is pumped about this. This is just going to make it be like, hey, come here with a big sign, like, I'm a fan of this, so you should also be a fan of this. We're all going to get along. Then there's nothing wrong with it. That is all in integrity. And finding that line of when's too much and how to do it is definitely something to play with. But for any of our Swifty listeners with a business, this is a really cool moment for you. And this episode is releasing 2 days, less than 2 days after this announcement. So, like, there is still time. This is still fresh. This is still new. And as Kel and I both said, there's definitely something else coming down the line. Our guest is Super Bowl. But using this to tap into finding more like minded humans in your community to bring within your circle is smart.
Exactly. And even on a small scale, let's say you want to pitch to be on someone's podcast and you want to kind of leverage their audience, make sure the person who's hosting this podcast knows that you're there to love on them too. I think there's a part of that integrity piece of like, oh, I'm so excited. They have a bigger audience. So I'm going to get more followers, or like, I need the numbers game. But like, how is your message actually supporting them? And also, how are you helping them and their message with your audience? I think there's a way to kind of love on people where they are, even if it is a really amazing, mutually beneficial partnership in that way. So If you also need any support, reach out to us. We'd love to
Yeah.
support you on that. But Brooke, you were talking about earlier before we got on here a couple examples of how you've seen people use like this engagement as a meme. Can you explain that to some people that maybe
Yeah.
are looking for ideas?
This is actually maybe my favorite way to use pop culture moments, but I mean, it's also because I just enjoy a good meme. And I'm going to put the disclaimer out there of there are very few accounts that, in my opinion, can pull off being meme accounts in regards to like, that is the only type of content you post to promote whatever you are doing or whatever it may be. I find that actually really difficult, and there's only a handful of them I'll follow. So I don't recommend turning every post that you do up to be a pop culture meme. But if you like slide them in here and there, they do well because they're funny. And people go on social media to be entertained, to learn, to be entertained, or to just like disconnect for a minute. And I think more and more as the world moves forward, people are really looking more and more for that entertainment. So if you can find a way to marry entertainment and value in any way, shape, or form, or just like recognition back to your brand, you're killing it. Like, that is incredible. So one of the ways you can do that is by turning these pop culture moments into fun memes that relate back to your business or that people in your industry can relate to. So for example, the photo that was released this morning of Travis like looking down at Taylor like lovingly, and Taylor like flashing the ring, you know, the classic like I just got engaged photo. Use that as a fun meme. Like, I've definitely already seen people posting it with like different like words that they'll put on the screen. So it's like Travis would be like looking down at Taylor, and Taylor would be like my newly segmented email list, or my, you know, something of that nature. And that is, they're doing a couple things here by posting meme content like that. They're automatically going to stop someone's scroll if that person is also interested in this pop culture moment that's happening, whether it's the Taylor and Travis one or any other. Bridgerton was another big pop culture icon moment when the new season got released, last year. Kelly and I were like really in on that one, obsessed with Bridgerton. But they are stopping the scroll of other people interested in that. And if you are in the industry of email marketing, you're giggling at that. Like, it's just something that you're like I feel seen, like I get it. And come up with meme content related to your industry. So if you have like a skincare company, it might be like Travis looking down at Taylor, and like Taylor's words are like, or Travis's words are like, looking at my freshly exfoliated skin. I'm coming up with horrible examples right now, but you get what I'm saying. Like, Travis is indicative of the part of the meme that's like looking down at my, like looking lovingly at my, and Taylor is the thing that you're excited about, the thing that you're in love with. So maybe it's the new skincare product you just launched in your brand, whatever it may be. So think about it like that, because you're catching people in their scroll by using a photo that you know will stop their scroll, because it's already stopped 1.8 million people scroll in under 20 minutes. And you're inserting your own relatable moment, like whatever it might be, for people in your industry or for your ideal audience. So that is kind of one way you can use these pop culture moments as memes, and they're personally my favorite way to use them.
I love that so much. And we're going to keep seeing them come out, and I'm sure you're already seeing some. So see what you can use. And honestly, you know, to kind of wrap all this up with a bow, it really doesn't matter how you use the pop culture reference, as long as it is very you and your brand and it's serving your community authentically. That's really it at the end of the day. Jump on a trend and jump on something pop culture if it feels good to you and your audience. If it doesn't, just let it go, because there'll be another one in 5 minutes.
Literally wait 5 minutes, refresh your feed, the next one will be there.
Exactly. Any last minute thoughts you want to leave with our amazing audience today?
Tag us in the memes that you create, whether it's again about this pop culture moment or others. Kelly and I, we don't do a lot of marketing and branding episodes on this podcast, because the purpose of this podcast is exactly what Kelly said earlier. It's really to elevate female voices. So it's a lot of founder interviews. We love doing those, hearing other people's stories, and then just talking about the realities of business, the highs and the lows and everything in between. These are things that if you're a listener, you already know. But I say that because we want to insert some marketing and brand genius where we can, because it is what Kelly and I do in our day jobs at Fuse the Agency, which if you've never checked it out, please do. We're fun over there. But we want to see more women succeed in business. Point blank, period. And if getting to study and analyze how Taylor has gotten to where she is today, or insert any other business owner or actor or actress or author or brand owner or whatever it may be, female founder, we're obsessed with it and we want to talk about it. And there is always something marketing and branding to learn from these moments that we want to share with y'all. So if you liked this more marketing and branding forward episode, please let us know. Because again, it wasn't the purpose of this podcast as a brand in general, but we are thinking about dribbling a little more through here and there. So let us know.
Give us 5 stars only. I'm just kidding. But rate us, but really let us know, because your feedback is important to us. And if you're also a female founder and you're listening and you haven't been on our podcast yet, please, in the description, we have a questionnaire and we'd love to interview you and elevate your voice as well. So come on. We love you. We love finding our views and we want to help you find yours. But till next time.
Hey, love you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode.
Please take some time, follow us on @FindYourFuse or email us at info@findyourfuse.com for all inquiries and all exciting things that you want to chat with us about. We love building this community and we love you. Take some time and leave a review. Anything above 5 stars, we'd love it. But really, we appreciate you and we appreciate your feedback in any form, because the more feedback we can get, the better we'll get.
Okay, love you. Bye.